Okay, shalom. Most High in Christ bless. This is Soldier Nehemiah, and I'm alongside with
Soldier Island.
All right, and we are downtown Nassau, Bahamas. Okay, and we are standing in the front of this building, the oldest building on this island. Okay, it's called the Pompeii Museum. Okay, this building has all of our history of our forefathers when they came here as slaves. All right, which is mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay, all right, so this building actually has artifacts that you can see, that you can touch, the chains of the yokes of iron that was on our forefathers' neck and that was on their feet. Okay,
and we also want to let you all know that this is also controlled by one of our slave masters by the name of Lord John Rule. That's where we got our slave master's name from. He was one of the biggest slave owners in the Bahamas at that time, and we are scattered out through the four corners of in the Bahamas, that is, with the same slave master. He has rules in Zuma, rules in Eleuthera, rules in Andros, rules in Nassau.
This one we use to dispel myths. The myths about transatlantic slave trade. The ones, or I should say the harmful ones. You understand? So one thing that you hear people erroneously say, oh, well, you know, slavery existed in every society before that. So what happened with us isn't really that bad. It was always going on, you know. So, and then it also leads into that rhetoric of, well, why y'all just can't pull your socks up, pull your bootstrap up, and all that stuff. So they try to blanket all versions of slavery, and they blanket all people, and then they feel that, oh, well, don't forget now, they had Italians enslaved on the Barbary coast, but now Italy's doing good, so what's the problem with y'all? You follow me? Mm-hmm. So this right here pretty much distinctly
the different types of
exactly. You know, and probably to put it from your angle even, this would be the Deuteronomy, Exodus type of thing, and that other stuff would be the whatever, you know, just some other enormous, exactly, you know. So, and not even diaspora, because this deals with like Greek, you know. So for example, the word slave even is of Eastern European origin, because you know that slave thing is always attached to black African. So this does that. The word itself wasn't originally applied to people that look like us. You understand? So that's important. And then, you know, they like to say, well, the Irish had slaves too. You know, and
they weren't
Irish
slaves
were
too.
Slave. Other garbage, you know. It's one famous picture they love to show you actually, where they on a boat in the cage. They damn prisoners, bro. A bunch of rapists and murderers getting sent to the New World because they don't want them there. Right. They prisoners. They aren't slaves. Well, I guess you could define them as slaves, but they prisoners, bro. You understand? Yeah. And it's a huge difference between, of course, a contract of indentured servitude and a bill of sale. You understand? So all of this pretty much dispels that myth, and then we explain to them how slavery would have existed in Africa. And as a matter of fact, personally, I don't even use the term together. I just use it for layman's terms.
So how was it in Africa?
Well, for example, it was mostly human nature things. And like I say, they try to drag down these societies to be on level with European societies, you understand? So like I say, the whole, well, you know, slavery existed everywhere anyway, so what's the big deal? To kind of negate the transatlantic slave trade, right? So in Africa, for example, you have the concept of Nzambi. Nzambi, from the Congo. That is where the concept of a zombie comes from. So this dealing with the Fawn, tribal Levi people. This is one of the stuff that they do. So in their communities, and they have a guy called Max Beauvoir. They call him the Voodoo Pope. You know, they like to sensationalize things, but he's a Fawn descendant, and he talks about it. And of course, what we think of as a zombie today is the living dead and scary people eating brains and all that stuff. That is actually a result of American Marines and stuff who lived in Haiti and saw certain things they didn't understand. What it really was African medicine. These guys literally used tetrodotoxin, which is known as TTX. That is a chemical in the blowfish.
Okay.
And it gives you the appearance of death. Slow your pulse down to like 3 beats a minute. They have your funeral, bury you.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right, exactly, right. So then you can see, and that was used as a form of punishment. Because what it did is incapacitated you. So if you were a guy who had certain things, it incapacitated you. But of course, they just can make it seem like it's just sinister, witchcraft, and all. And I'm of the firm belief, me and you don't reason, but it's all our stuff interconnected, my brother. It is absolutely amazing for me. And the slavery that existed in Africa, like I said, I personally don't even like to use the term to describe what was happening in Africa. But I only use it for teaching purposes, for layman's terms. But essentially, you know, that concept of Nzambi is really not slavery as we know it.
So it's
you
like
understand?
More like a servant, work
Right.
pay, hire,
Exactly.
like it says, pay off
And
debt.
yeah, and guess who you would be enslaved to? The family you affected. So you understand? So they have cases of like just rehabilitation that is unfathomable to us right now, you know. And in that case, and you know, like the Congo, these regions where the Fawn and the tribe of Levi would have come from, these people are the ones that are also some of the most heavily demonized. You know, those are the ones who also went to Haiti. And we know why they're the most heavily demonized. They are also the most victorious. You understand? They hit back the hardest and won some things too. You know what I mean? And then, of course, criminals, as they mentioned, death, bondage, and then prisoners of wars too. Because people think that everyone in West Africa, because right now, you know, we just black, but they think that everyone in West Africa spoke the same language, worshiped the same God. Exactly. Even us right now ain't like that. You understand what I'm saying? And then they use that to then be like, oh, well, you know, they enslaved themselves. Right, exactly. You know what I mean? Like me and you could get in a fight right now. And even then, people would be like, well, that's an American fighting a Bahamian, right? Even though we know, yeah, but you know, but just to explain that part. So this here is, for me, I call it the Mythbuster slide, you know? Yeah, one time I actually had someone come in here. He was actually like wearing like my God, all that stuff. Y'all can feel free to join in if you all want. If not, cool. You listen and take pictures, right? And he literally walks through, didn't pay attention, anything like that. Walked straight to the triangular trade section, like a few slides up. And he was pretty much red scoured through. And he's like, yeah, honey, see, it says it right there. Africans enslaved themselves. And then he was like vindicated and then like left the museum. But I stopped him from leaving the museum and I was like, hold on now, let's get this together. So this are the Cushites. Cushites, you know, where Zipporah was from, Queen of Sheba, Empress Makeda, right? And these is one of the canvases, you know, and the canvas, that's the title, or Kandaki, that's the title that they would have used, right?
So like a king.
Yeah, right, king or queen, you know what I mean? But now it's feminized and it's meaning mostly queen. And the reason why it stood out so much because at most other places in the world they wasn't having women of such might in those type of positions. But these women physically led their troops in the battle. They were closely connected with I think Queen Judy. It was a Falasha queen who was in Ethiopia as well. She was also kind of affiliated with them, but she had a little beefs in them, and I can't remember that. But I focus on this part on, of course, Queen of Sheba from the Bible, and made that connection. I also stress that point that, you know, given all the different versions, all the different translations, and all these stuff that come down, when you look at it for historical proof of many of these stories, every single time it would take you to an Ethiopia, or Nigeria, or something like that, yeah. Right? And then when you're looking for the Rome story, when you're looking for that England story, like it ain't really
right.
It's not in the book.
Colonized.
Right? Yeah. Right. You see what I'm saying? So. Yeah, and then I show them this, and then I hit them with the big cruncher, especially the kids, you know. Well, you all know that this was before the Roman Catholic Church. And of course, we are taught to believe that the Roman Catholic Church is the original church, the first church and all of that. And then when I explain that to them, they usually, you know, you come down.
So the renowned West African empires of Ghana, Mali, Songhai.
Yeah.
Right?
And personally, I don't know how viral this can go. We have some. Because I remember I was telling you all before too, I am curious, I used to interpret a lot of stuff was put there before that. And we have one or two little errors and misinformation in here as well, you know. Because Songhai, Ghana will be the only one that really thing up. And then you add Wakadu and other ones like that. Mali and Songhai was more medieval period, dark ages,
okay.
You know,
Okay.
period. Mm-hmm. Ghana was there too, but it was like a different kingdom of Ghana would have been more identified as the Ashanti today. Okay. And they were the ones who they kind of come from the kingdom of Ghana, which is not in present day Ghana. It's more in present day Senegal and Mauritania, right? And then, and they refused the Arabization. they fought that. So similar to like the Dogon and the Yoruba and them, you know, so they was like kind of on that thing, you know. And I even found in Songhai where after Sunni Ali died, his predecessor was supposed to be his son. But you know, of all of them, Songhai, they like to overplay the Arabic and Islamic influence, you understand, in our stuff. But with Songhai, I actually found that the guy who's supposed to be the second king, he refused the throne because he would not claim Islam. You understand?
I think I heard it.
Right, Sunni Bara or something like that. And then that's when Askia the Great came in after him. Because Askia the Great wasn't even of blood relation to Sunni Ali. But the other guy refused his Islam. All he had to do is claim Islam. You know? So I'd be like, they want me to be the prime minister today. Yeah, you got to go bow down for the queen. I'd be like, baby, well, that just means I can't be. You understand? So I feel like it was that kind of vibration with that. But essentially, we do this to, and then of course they focus on a lot of scientific stuff. So you know they like to Greece especially, and I go around. So people like Hippocrates, you know, yeah, father of medicine, this and that, which is a joke. You know what I mean? While people practicing medicine in Asia and Africa, millennia before, exactly, and Hippocrates, right? And Hippocrates worshipped. Yeah, an African doctor, right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And he went to Africa to learn all this stuff. And in his defense, even Hippocrates wasn't even like, oh yeah, let me take this and keep it for myself. If you read his work, he is giving all the praises to Imhotep. And be like, I'm a child of Imhotep, and I love Imhotep. Thank God for Imhotep. He did this, taught us how to do that, and all that. So he was like almost operate. It would be like how, you know, you have like churches dedicated to certain saints today. That was how it functioned there. And these were living, breathing men in the Nile Valley who were worshipped as gods in Greece. But somehow Hippocrates is the father of medicine.
Cut all this out.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And then of course Greek Aksum, Kush. Y'all, you know, Aksum is all through the Bible, bro. Yeah, Aksum all up in the Bible, Kush all up in the Bible. And then Great Zimbabwe. So Great Zimbabwe is present day Zimbabwe, used to be called Motapa. And they found, it's so funny because they like to make, one thing I hate is when they don't have the chronologically correct, right? So for example, they would call Toussaint Louverture the Black Napoleon. But he defeated Napoleon. So how could he be called the Black Napoleon if that's who he did? You understand? And it's very similar with Zimbabwe. Like it's a lot of misinformation, a lot of stuff like that. And they claim when they first found the great ruins of Great Zimbabwe, they claimed that some Portuguese explorer had to come there because they look so much like European.
They definitely moved back from history.
Yeah, and these are considered the progenitors of the Shaka Zulus, Mapam Gogwe, and these places, the Shona people and all that. When you look at a lot of their history, that is their, that's like the quote-unquote Mecca.
Their forefathers.
Their forefathers, right, there you go. You understand? Okay. And then, of course, we can move into West Africa over here.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I also, let's get the currency first, too. So these were Manilas. These were called Kissy pennies. This was like Angola, Congo region. This was like, Gambia.
This is how you trade it with,
right,
with money?
Exactly. And so, and you have to love this because we know who these modern banking systems, you know, them Ashkenazis and them, right? We ain't get in there too much.
This brother knows some stuff, man.
Yeah, bro. But you see how and this is another thing that's completely overlooked, because if you use and also cowrie shells, right? So if you had all these different modes of trade and ways to make money and ways to produce wealth, then all of a sudden, well, you only could use this paper money. This is the universal tender. Only this, and all that. You understand?
We're like, who the hell are you?
Exactly, and it completely decimated, and that is how they did it. It's a multifaceted thing, brother, you know, and it's something that frustrates me and stuff like that too. Yeah, so, and then Manila is actually like a Portuguese word. Right. So of course we wasn't calling them Manilas, but I don't even know the African terminology.
So this is, what is the called right here? What are
Manilas.
Those are Manilas.
This
is the
Kissy penny. Right.
What would this? How would this be like?
They would just use this bundles. A lot of times, We still ain't know, and this was actually stopped working in the 1960s. In more modern periods, you notice that people used to use it a lot for tattooing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
But they were also considered currency. Yeah, so you could see like it's a scraper if you really look good. Yeah, but it was also currency because it was just a different concept. You understand? So it would be.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around
me too.
it.
Like, it's even hard for me because we grew up in the system. So it's just this, and then you get the money and all that, right? But
We got that colonized mind.
exactly, you know, that we have to admit.
Yeah,
Right?
we get
But it was a set, like money was money, but it wasn't the only purpose it served. You understand? It was just it was valuable, but it was scrapers, tattoo makers, but they were also currency. These could be used as bracelets, but also currency. Same with the cowrie shells. There you go. You understand? And then that also opens it up. So, you know, pretty much in this world today, if you don't have access to that paper money,
You
that's
done.
you, bro. That's why all this got to work and all this got to do this thing. You know what I mean? But in those days, you know, if you from an area where cowrie shells prevalent, you know, and they on the floor, right? You know what I'm saying? Then you in another area where you might not have no cowrie shells, but you get some master steel producers.
That's your wealth.
Right, you understand? And it was literally like it organically just happened to where, like, you know, so you get oranges, you know, he gets salt. You need some salt for your mates, and he needs some vitamin C, and you know what I'm saying? So that's what it really was. And it wasn't, you know, you had complete communities that didn't even have the concept of working for somebody. Like they don't, that's unfathomable. No word for employer, no word for boss. You understand?
Well, it didn't exist.
Right, exactly. Congo, no word for rape, no word for jail.
It didn't exist.
They did in Zambia, no word for jail. But somehow they convince us that a fellow who sell a rock on the side of the road deserves 25 years of jail. And somehow when mothers is buying to that, bro, that war on drugs, you know what I'm saying? It's, and that's why I feel we need to get back to some of these things, bro. Like seriously, you know, and a lot of it in the Bible too. And be so far away from it, and so that anything that's like taboo or you understand what they saying? It's like, oh no, that evil, that this, that you can't do that.
Just because they don't
You
know.
what I mean? All these black fellas with that is on this shit. Anything that's different and doesn't conform, we've been conditioned to just shun that, reject that. You understand? Yeah. So Mansa Musa, most of us know who that is.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Mansa Musa, richest person in human history. We speak a lot about Timbuktu, and I'm glad you mentioned Timbuktu because Timbuktu has always been considered like with the medieval period type thing, dark ages thing, but now we know that it's prior to that.
Yes, before that.
You know, right, and it all started with a well built by a woman, and she started collecting books, and then it just slowly but surely just evolved and blossomed, and of course we know it kind of created a
about him being the
civilization.
richest man in the world. Now,
Human history, they say.
now, knowing compared to what we understand with the Bible and Solomon,
Right.
how do you correlate them to it and say he would be the richest man when the Bible
Right,
says
yeah,
that
you
Solomon
understand?
he
Yeah.
had boatloads of gold brought to him every
right.
month.
Yeah. Well,
You know, and I know I've heard about Mess Moose.
I
he came
think
through.
what it is, because what the problem with that is, you could literally, because Timbuktu have thousands and thousands of manuscripts. When it came to Solomon and Sheba, don't forget when Constantine and these laws said that they had to pretty much de-blacken, whiten up everything.
Whitewash it.
Right, exactly, everything. So I feel like that's what happened.
Okay.
Lost in translation over time and stuff. You still have plays like what the play name?
What, 12 Years a Slave?
It's about it's a play about Sheba and Solomon. Dido.
Okay.
Dido, right? And when you see that, Dido is always a white woman, European woman.
Really?
But the story is right there.
Well, I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you know, but the story is right there. And it's an African story based in Ethiopia
Africa.
and all this stuff and all that. But the people white. You know what I mean? So it requires a lot of research too.
So their history says he's the richest.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's ours and Arab history mostly actually that says that he's the richest. But like I say, remember he Islamic, number one. So I don't know how important of a prophet Solomon and Sheba are in the Islamic
I see what you
pantheon,
want now.
as opposed to say the Christian or the
I'm a good
Jewish or
observer.
Hebrew or the Rasta or whatever, you understand? So I can't comment too much on that. However, they could put a number on this wealth, and that's why. And for all of those that they could put a number on that wealth too,
What would
on
it translate
approximate,
to today?
conservative estimate 400 billion, and the highest
Wow.
I've seen, and the highest I've seen estimated is 1.2 trillion.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now it's hard to quantify when you ask an excellent question, because you have to be, because like I say, they love to overplay the Arabism and the Islamism in Africa, and that's why they focus on a Songhai and a Mali. You understand? And that's why my favorite monster is actually the one before him. The one who
Your favorite what?
My favorite monster, king of Mali, I guess you could say, was the one before him. He didn't make his pilgrimage to Mecca.
Oh, so it's another Mansa Musa.
Oh yeah. Well, Mansa is the title.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
it means
okay.
king. And Musa means Moses. So he named himself King Moses.
Oh,
He named himself
I
King
know that.
Moses, yeah, bro.
Okay.
And Kankan Musa was his predecessor. He was like an uncle. And he sent 200 ships. He's the guy. Kankan Musa is the one, you hear everyone says the Malians made it to the New World before Columbus.
Yeah, I heard
It was him.
was him.
Kankan Musa. He sent 200 ships to the west, heard about it, heard about this and that. And of course, there's a guy, a white Jewish guy, as a matter of fact. Leo Wiener wrote a book studying ocean currents. And he said, you don't even need to be trying to make it to the New World. Once your boat drift too much in, them currents can bring you on this side. All you need to do is survive, and you will make it eventually. You understand? So all of that contributes to it. 6 of his ships returned. They were stranded on the Cape Verde Islands, and they brought back a lot of stuff with them. Okay? And this would really throw his people off, and it's another thing they don't like to teach about. You know that all throughout West Africa, all throughout North Africa, you have people testing positive for cocaine and nicotine.
Really?
Pre-Columbia. Pre-Columbus. So what that tell you?
It's over here.
Right. He's moving through. You know what they say? He's moving through. And then of course, I don't know, I'm familiar with I'm familiar, not too much, but I know it's a part of your doctrine that talks about the New World experience prior to Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
And I personally believe that have to do with Kankan Musa.
Yeah.
See, so you should check that story out, and maybe you could see
Do
it.
you know the time frame of when he went over?
This would have been, between 1290 and before 1320.
Okay.
So definitely before Columbus.
Yeah, way before
Definitely way
This is
before.
where it is, where this thing goes too.
Yeah,
Too.
right. Yeah, and then even that's a Frenchified word even. You understand? So it's so
much.
The corner is it's so much that I don't even think it could be accomplished in our lifetime.
They
Like
told
the
us a lot of lies.
exactly, and a lot of whitewashing, a lot of these things, And to this day, when you hear Timbuktu, it's usually in
You think
not
an
really-
arrow
right.
kind of thing.
But it's even when people use it in our vernacular. Like for example, in the Bahamas, you send someone to the shop and they take 3 hours to come. Hey, where you been? Timbuktu. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So it's just like that. And then we have an artist who made a song, a line in the song, and I ain't trying to diss him. It's probably just out of ignorance, not stupidity. Ignorance, big difference.
Yeah.
He just don't know. But he have a line in the song, DJ Chronicles.
What do you say?
I'm coming from the 242. I'm coming from Bahamas. So don't tell me about no Timbuktu.
Oh, God.
You really saying? Yeah. So
What is this right here? We see Kanem.
Kanem Bornu, right? So
I know Ashanti, I know Aruba, but Kanem.
remember last time we reasoned?
Yeah.
And we was talking about the Aruba and the Igbo, and we was agreeing talking about how they, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Kanem Bornu is another one that's rarely talked about.
That's a person?
No, Kanem Bornu is a
Tribe?
empire.
Okay.
That is the empire of the Sahara.
Of the Sahara.
That is the empire of the Sahara. So a lot of those things they find and all that stuff, and all we finding all these roads under the sun. But of course, they ain't want to send archaeologists to actually go in there, tell us they only could do the X-ray from space, right? But that was Kanem Bornu.
Okay.
Right? Kanem Bornu, as a matter of fact, some scholars argue Kanem Bornu is more powerful than both Mali and Songhai. And Kanem Bornu was, when you look at Yoruba, Igbo, Fawn oral history, Kanem Bornu, because when you look at where it is, Africa, Nile, Kenembonu is literally right there. Chad. Right
So it's off of the Nile.
Right, but it will be much more west of the Nile. So it
ZEPHANIAH
existed
3.
from the days that the Nile was a fertile, the desert, was a fertile place. You understand, right? When they had rainforest, jungles, nuts growing around. Dr. Ben have a lecture on Kenembonu. And it's actually one of his best ones for me. It'll have you laughing and teach you the same thing.
So that's more middle
Right,
to
middle
the east.
north, right,
And north.
mid-north. So
Okay.
Chad would be the major country.
Chad.
Let me go to the map. I can point it. I can kind of point it out. Yeah, but Kenembonu, and then
Got to talk about that right there.
oh yeah. But this, according to our notes from South Carolina, right? Yeah, and you know, ended all that stuff. You know, that's
they
our
trying to
language.
get rid
That's
of
our
it.
dialect.
Geechee down
Yeah,
there.
bro. Yeah, they are, and they approaching on the and stuff. Are you trying to reach out to the Galaatian now to tell her she need to bring Bahamians in because that's 400,000 strong. She can have masters. San and Koya, you know, that's when the scholars in Timbuktu used to have. That's where rap come from, bro.
Yeah.
And the dozens and things. Rap and the dozens come from the kingdom of Mali too.
Oh,
they call it San and Koya. So
Call it what?
San and Koya.
San
and
Koya.
Koya.
San and Koya. And it's the griots and these guys, they will come together, have competitions on knowledge, on spitting ways with birds and all that, ridiculing
Talking
each other.
mess.
Right, talking mess. The dozens, bro, that's what that was. And then that's where it came from.
That's something we used to do back in Mali, in the kingdom of
I
Mali.
didn't know that. I knew you used to do it back on the plantation.
Ah,
Yeah,
I
I know that.
It goes all the way back.
all the way back to here, my bro. San and Koya, right? And now this, of course, ball and chain, South Carolina. You can touch it too. All that.
Is this chain down? Like this isn't pinned down, is it?
But this part, no. That's just how heavy that is.
Yeah, it's
Heavy?
That's what's going on next.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. CND is important, you know. I actually have, no, I don't call it but it's a fellow radio show personality. This clown tell me that he agrees with Kanye West.
Slavery was a choice.
That slavery was a choice.
Boy, you gotta be a fool.
Yeah, right? And I was like, bro, if slavery was a choice, why would they need this?
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Why would they need all
To hold us
these
down.
They had entire industries that made things to keep us
Down.
in chains and down. Like
From
entire
running.
industries. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, well the Haitians revolted, so they chose to revolt. I was like, but they didn't choose to be enslaved.
Thank you.
That's proof that slavery is not a choice. If they chose to be enslaved, they'd have been able to wake up to work and go to work the next day.
You couldn't run.
You can't run. That's what they get you.
The worst instrument for me is the one up on top of the door there and you pointing out to your yeah, but we can move through march to the coast. Now this is where we getting into some of the heaviest stuff. And this right here is a good example too of the misinformation. First of all, this picture isn't even the whole thing.
Right.
This picture should stop about here. And right here, you have a guy with an axe.
He's killing somebody. Somebody
So you see that?
I'll show it to you.
Right, good.
I have it on
That is, but that is not nice. Yeah.
It's on the flyer. If
Where
you open
is?
it up,
So you all know what they talking about.
got
And this is the
these.
Arab, but this is the Arab.
They go to Arab here.
There you go, brother. There you go.
They might take
And
off
this
on
is
the new ones.
And this is the Arab slave trade.
This isn't everything.
This came from East Africa, but they put it as the West African one. All right. All right, good. So you could see that little misinformation there. You understand? Right there, that one, right. You understand? Now, but this one is not the transatlantic slave trade.
That's the Arab.
That's the Arab slave trade.
Trans-Saharan.
Exactly. There you go, brother. And these guys are not Africans. They are Arabs. They're not black. They Arabs. And the other picture down here where it shows you the guy getting chopped, it shows it clearly.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And so I asked the curator, I was like, so why they didn't put the whole picture up? And they thought it would have been too violent. But I was like, we got Gordon over there with his back all tail.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? When you watched you saw Roots before, remember Roots back in the day?
Yeah.
When I rewatched it, after know what I know now,
Right.
and it showed the path of trying to capture the certain tribes, right?
Yeah.
They had an African and an Arab.
Right.
Everybody forgets that there was an Arab there.
Exactly.
In that picture, in
And
Roots.
even in the odd cases where you did have, say, an African doing that, he was an Arabized African. Just like we have Europeanized Africans and Hebrews and stuff today.
Yes.
I tell my partner the other day, when we was talking revolution thing, that I said, "Man, we ain't ready for no revolution, because half of us fighting with white man, bro."
Yeah.
We're all over the place.
Exactly. You see, they said they can be mad, bro. I said you only can see Pan-Africans, Hebrew Israelites, maybe Nubians, Rastafarians, of course. You know, maybe Nation of Islam, but not all. Not all, but nation can be there. The nation can be there. Arthur Schomburg Institute, you have a few, bro. The NAACP beside you think they can be on. Right? You see how you said? Yeah. You know, the Black Baptist Church beside you think they can be on. You know, 200 years ago, they'd have been on our side, though, but today changed, bro. Today, exactly. Not so much. Yeah. So anyway, we don't have to dwell too much on this, right? We don't have to dwell too much on this, but essentially, W.B. Du Bois. And this is where my problem comes in. When you look at the end of the chattel slavery, I should say, the scholars that studied the numbers then, they were so much higher than those now. And over time, that number just get lower and lower and lower. Yeah. And now it's between 10 and 15 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But W.B. Du Bois,
Yeah.
W.B. Du Bois, these men them whose parents were slaves and who were slaves themselves, putting these numbers together at a time when it's closer, where they have more primary sources and stuff like that. One of my big fantasies is to get like on TV or something like that, and they invite me to like do something, and I just friggin' go crazy in left field. They come in to talk about the loyalists when they came to the Bahamas and built the Parliament buildings and gave us our last names, and I just friggin' come true and be like, when the loyalists come here, they turn everyone into babe. I'm telling you, bro. And that's like a personal little fantasy of mine. But we know the numbers are much higher. Excuse me, man. And you can feel free to join in. Yes, ma'am. All right. Let me get over here. So, of course, triangular trade.
Now,
and then
where did that name come from?
the Europeans.
Thank you.
The Europeans.
There you go.
Some of them even go so far as to call it an exchange.
Yes.
Some of them even like you know what I mean? It is absolutely
In
insulting.
America, they're even teaching now in the schools that over to like migration. It wasn't slave trade; it was a migration.
Like you
voluntarily came on a boat over.
And you know how they do that? They do that with that same garbage propaganda. The Africans enslaved themselves.
Yes.
You see, and
that's what they teach.
And that's the point. That's the point. They're teaching that in the schools now.
Right.
To show that we pretty much did it to ourselves.
Exactly.
And it's not, and it's they're wiping their hands.
Thank you. And then when you look at Haiti, well, don't forget Papa Doc and Baby Doc. When you look at Congo, Mobutu. Not knowing the CIA.
I guess I would have to ask, like, what schools is that being taught in? Because in the schools, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and our schools, we're not teaching that. They're not teaching any of that.
Texas.
They're not teaching any of that. So they don't even.
They don't
put a piece
teach
of
it at
history.
all?
They don't even put a piece of history in front of our children.
But Indianapolis,
so we learn because it is there. It's plain and corn. You can take and pick whichever one you want.
It's what?
Plain and corn. Take and pick whichever one you want. And so we're not even being taught our history. We're not even being taught what we're doing. So they're just taking it out.
You see these guys be going
So
through North Bay.
in all actuality, we got to take control of that and teach our kids and stop depending on the colonized system to really teach our kids.
But I'll tell you, what's embedded in our black men is that you can't. And unfortunately, as we drive ourselves, we teach that we can't.
That ain't true.
And so I'm a mother of a son who's about to graduate, who's about to go through. He's a Kappa. And so one of the things that he's doing is he's with it's called it's called BOSS. It's called Business of Successful Society for Men. And so he is bringing in other young black men that come in to explain to them what you can do and how you can be involved in the different things that they get to school. Like they have like African American like culture centers.
At the college.
At the college level, because he's an IUIC. So he's one of the people that bring them in and say, hey, I get you want to do all these things at the school, but learn about this. Come in here and support this. because this is what's gonna, help you. This is what the network is at. This is where you learn how to do those things.
The thing is, it's available, it's just not institutionalized yet. And let me explain what I mean by that. Of course, we have museums and stuff, and those are institutionalized, right? These fellas are someone that you could go to and do that. They have fixed intervals where they out on the streets preaching their gospel.
And we go in.
And they go in. You understand?
Yeah.
So you just have to.
He knows more the history.
Yeah,
He knows
I'm a
the
historian.
details.
Right.
He knows the details.
But exactly. So while I would do the history, when I want to know what verse and what prophet and all that, these are the type of men I go to for that. So when I talked about those things I found out that Empress Makeda or Queen of Sheba from the Bible was a Kandaki queen from a Kemetan and a Black Hebrew Israelite. And so that's where the biblical, the spiritual comes in with the historical and the scientific. You understand? And it's different fields too. Like it isn't just Black history. You have Black history as it pertains to the Bible. You have Black history as the subject of history. You have anthropology that studies why we do this, why girls move their hips like that, why Black men do that sometimes, why we nod like that with each other, why we do that when we. It's so broad. You know what I mean?
I don't really know, but as long as we have a society where we feel like we're so pitted against each other, because we are stronger together than we are apart.
Right.
We marry ourselves. We learn how to be a husband. These are the things that we're not taught. We're just looking at BET and our sisters twerk and learn how to twerk. We learn how to be. This is what we learn in America. We learn how to be degenerate. We got to stop that.
But systematically, when you look at social economics divide us. Because your social economics tell you where you are in the food chain to where you can survive.
Well, I call it the black fatty bourgeoisie.
Yes.
The black fatty bourgeoisie, and that's a huge problem too. I did it, why can't you do it? Yeah, I made it, I did this, no excuses anymore.
I see that on this island already. Just brother, I see it.
We are the vanguard of neocolonialism. In the Western Hemisphere.
I can give you 100 problems. I can give you 100 problems.
We have solutions.
What are
Hold on, look at this right here.
Solutions.
This shows you, here's the solution. We need to know our nationality
Right,
first.
nation.
Know who we are. We're not Christians. We're not blacks. And those are labels that we got in slavery. Until this happened, we didn't know nothing about a white Jesus and the things that we've been taught.
Right.
That's the first solution. Then coming together with your brothers and sisters and keeping God's laws. Repentance, meaning change the mindset.
Exactly.
Until we change this, we're always going to be at the bottom.
And this is a black interpretation. And this is a black interpretation. So notice where he made that parallel. That is of us. You understand? So their interpretation, and when they say biblical, that's not Eurocentric. Biblical interpretation. You understand? And you see, so people will just hear biblical, and then they think, what? Roman Catholic Church, Bibles, King James. They burn women at the stakes. You guys following that? Oh no, and that's not it. And it's a African black Hebrew interpretation of these same things. So whereas they would look at that Adam and Eve story, the Europeans look at the Adam and Eve story and say, hey, you inferior to me. Right. He looked at the Adam and Eve story and take it as a warning. Or however, you understand? But that difference in interpretation, and for me, it's we have to get out of, like he said, we were just laughing at each other with it. You gotta flush that Eurocentricity.
And I'll tell you that as a light-skinned African American woman, people always assume when you light-skinned, you got like a little separate, and I hate that because as I was growing up, my only friend was my mother who was dark-skinned. Which is crazy because where I lived at, it was two of us that were light skinned. Everybody else was like either dark or darker. Right. And so to grow up, and I used to wake up every day and pray that God would make me dark. But he never did because my mom was dark. But then as I got older, it became some type of like a token, like, oh, you're light skinned. So you started making me feel like, oh, when you light skinned, you're better. Or when you light skinned, you can get away with this and doing this. And then I said, but yet still, I can see a dark woman with beautiful skin. Think to myself, how did my skin get that smooth and that pure and that beautiful in that dark sense? And to understand myself as a light skinned African American woman, how do I fit myself in that plane? Because all my children, unfortunately, they're all high yellow.
I would love to show you a scripture.
Like they're all so, you know what I'm saying? So growing up was different for me. When people see me, they be like, oh, you had it good, you had it this. But my mom was like dark. My mom was like real dark. And so people be like, is that your kid? She be like, yeah, that's my daughter. But me being so light, exactly. But I can see that within how we interact with other women when they see me.
It's not necessarily how dark or light you are. It's not a color thing. This is not a color thing. This is about the seed of our fathers. Because God said this is going to happen to us. He didn't say just the dark ones or the light ones. But as a nation,
you have indigenous Africans that are lighter than you. The Khoisan, Namibia, Botswana, they are lighter than you. And the Fulani are generally fair skinned or light skinned as well. So again, remember, all people come from the motherland. So all of these things are of us, the good and the bad.
Only a black woman can make all shades.
Thank you, man. I was just going to say that.
Even down to the
I was just going to say that.
Yes.
Right. So exactly.
With the colored eyes and everything. Yes.
You understand? So
that's what we were separated in slavery, where they pitted the dark against the light.
And then another thing to add to what he said in terms of solutions. First of all, you need solidarity across all lines. That our common history, our common destiny need to unify us. So in layman's terms, me and you was laughing with this the other day. I'm a Pan-African. I'm not a black Hebrew Israelite, but I have the utmost.
With the Israelites.
The Israelites. Sorry, yeah. CNN do that to me. I gotta ask you something too. But before I make this.
That's like saying a black Muslim.
Right, exactly. When it's synonymous.
Right.
It's synonymous, right? So exactly, it's synonymous. But anyway. But to add to that, we need solidarity across all these things. Like he said, that divide and conquer Willie Lynn syndrome, that common, especially the common past that we share, needs to unify us. So in layman's terms, let's say tomorrow we succeed in our great mission. And all of us, some of us here, some of us in the motherland, we controlling our resources, everything good, we marrying our own people, almost a utopia type of thing. After that happens, then we can row and argue about you understand what I'm saying? And it can be just how we doing it now. It can be respectful and all that thing, bro. You understand?
One common
Thank you. Right. We ain't gotta be holding hands and singing kumbaya and the circle and
the funny thing is, I seen a clip. We played a clip on the radio show 2 weeks ago. It was of two hyenas. They were fighting each other.
Right.
In Africa, in the jungle, they were fighting each other, going back and forth like head to head, like this. And all the other hyenas are just watching.
Right.
And lo and behold, all the way down there is a lion running up to them straight ahead.
Yeah.
You saw that? The lions running up straight
They
ahead. The gazelles. They're not paying. That's us. We're those hyenas that's fighting each other, not paying attention. Then,
watching the danger come.
As the danger came, as the lion came, he caught one of them, and the other just scattered. That's us. We continually,
bro, that is an outstanding.
We could have fought him off.
Or we could have not been fighting each other and concentrated on why are we in this condition and deal with that instead of, you don't like me, you light skin, or I don't like you, I'm dark skin, and we go at each other knowing damn well somebody put us in the and put us in the position that we're not concentrating on. We got to focus off each other and put it back on why we're in the situation.
It's so amazing, the etymology of the word ghetto. You know what ghetto means? The place where Hebrew people live.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Where the Jews would dwell.
Where the Jews would dwell, right? I don't personally like.
Appreciate you listening to my insight, but thank you so much.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and you will see this, the 10, 15 million, we discuss that, but
they really,
wow, they put it out,
10 to 15, that's it?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Straight.
That's a lie.
And I'll tell you that too, and I interpret it. And that's a lie too. We don't have, Britain alone had double that. Britain alone, double that number, right? Just Britain Not Portugal, who was in it before and after everybody, not Spain, both of whom had more than Britain.
Can I ask
you understand? Yeah.
It just lost me.
Yeah, but think about it though. They say Britain took 1/4 in total for the entire 500-600 year time. Right. But while they were involved, they were the most prolific. But they say that. So if it's 70, let's just say 70 to round it down. Let's round it down for them. Right. 70,000 people. If each of those ships only had 100 slaves, that's 7 million. And you already reach 7 million.
Each ship only carried 100.
No, I just used it. If every ship only carried 100 slaves, and you only dealt with Britain, you would have over 7 million.
Thank you. Just one.
And so you got Britain, you got the Portuguese,
the
Spanish,
Dutch,
the Dutch,
Americans, and then Brazil branched off from Portugal, and then the whites in Brazil started to do it on their own accord. Netherlands. Prussia, Germany, Sweden, all of them, bro. You would be shocked. Saudi Arabia, you know what I mean? Like you would be shocked. Oman, man. But anyway, you know, this is the great thing. But this is, I think they did a pretty good job on this part here. Because at least it gives you the total thing, you know, the total. I'm sure y'all familiar. Y'all might be familiar with Goodbye Uncle Tom.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, all that is actually historically documented. All of those stories, and that is based on primary sources and truth. So the name of the ship, and when the fellas got diarrhea, that was the actual techniques they used putting and all that stuff, right? Now, how they made that movie is the part that really bothers me, because it was Italian filmmakers who went to Haiti, and they buy out Papa Doc to allow them to film there, and they pay all those roles you see. Because if you think about it, how could you get so many people to play those roles without dishing out some good money, you know what I mean? Or you would have to get real professional actors to do that, you know what I mean? But they get a bunch of normal people off the street in Haiti, pay them like $10 each, bro.
Wow.
Telling you, dog.
I didn't know that.
That's why it's so real.
And they let them do these things to them, bro. So some of them things is happening to them for real.
Right.
And so they would do it. So, and it's so strange because these racist Italians, without even realizing it, gave us some crucial information that we needed. Right? But they did it in the sense of, because you know, I like to call it trinketization. You know, so they would take something that we do and just like degrade it. You know, so those Europeans during the 70s, they was infatuated with the civil rights movement and stuff like that. You see, they used to like. We used to use the term poppy show in the Bahamas. So they had us like a poppy show. Right. Oh, look at them, it's so cool. Look at how they march down the road and look at their cute little signs. And that was the mentality. This exotics, like be exotic and me, you know, and all that. And those Italians came over to Haiti, paid them a pittance to do that. Papa Doc made a lot of money, and that's how they made the movie. Wow. But everything in there is historically documented from primary sources. The Jesuit church, where they had the brothel for little boys and all that stuff, that was real too. Yeah, and they used to be open with that in them days. That's the thing. People think that it's just crazy, bro. Like they used to be very open with that. They have a guy named Gilderay. He used to roll with Joan of Arc. And this fella on paper raped at least 350 little boys. On paper, just moving through. With Joan, with Joan of Arc. You know, and it ain't nothing changed. They still got that. And even their own scientists saying it now, like the same level of pedophilia, and everywhere they exist, it's not even an epidemic, it's a pandemic. Right. Meaning everywhere they are, it exists at the same rate, which is ridiculous, bro.
That's a spirit.
Bro.
If you didn't know, Esau the damn devil the Bible speaks.
I'm sure
you know that.
Well, bro. And I can be real with you. My mother's from Trinidad, right? They natives, half native, half black. Okay. You know, hardcore Catholic. My grandmother used to pray in Latin and all that. Saddest day of my life, because my grandmother from Trinidad spent her last days with us. She half Carib, half black. Last like 2 days of her life, when she was slipping into the great beyond, crying for Jesus. Just crying for Jesus, bro. And that was like the saddest thing to me, you know. But at the same time, you know, I have a personal belief that the Most High know what we've been through. And you know, and He all knowing. So He know what here for most of us. So even for me, the most staunch Catholic who just completely ignorant, A lot of people broke in, and I saw, because my grandmother was native, bro, as an insult. So the kids running around playing too much, right? And she from Southern Trinidad, as an insult, she would say, stop acting like a damn waru.
Like a what?
A waru.
That the natives over there.
And that's who she is, bro. That is her. That is the name of our group.
Yeah.
From Venezuela, and then they tell you stop. So that'd be like us saying, stop acting like a damn Hebrew. Stop acting like a Indian. Stop acting like a Jamaican. You know. Stop. You know.
It's a negative connotation.
Right. You know. Yeah.
Stereotype.
Yeah. And then that's the way. Well, y'all great on your etymology too, bro. That's why like y'all for too. But that etymology is super important, you know. That's why, you know, we can't accept Negro.
Yes.
None of these things, bro. You know, it's an insult. This here, we believe the auction block was actually in this corner too, and that's why he put this here. So this is the oldest public building. This is where the marketplace was. This is where the actual right here. I believe right in this spot.
I can see the
right.
These stones are
very old, right? We had 2 fires, some of them charred, but all of these, you could tell the original ones.
Yeah,
you could tell. You know, and it's over about 300 years old. This is where many of our ancestors came through. I have a nice document I could share with you all too, probably give it to one of you all. But I have a document with all the slave ships, bro. Coming here.
Yeah. We need that.
And I can give you all the site.
Y'all need that.
Baby, but y'all can't say you telling them where y'all get that shit from me.
Right. No problem.
But, I have the ones for the Bahamas on record, but I can give you the site where you can go and get all.
Right.
Yes.
It's called slavevoyages.org.
Okay.
Slavevoyages.
Oh, I know that site.
But you gotta know how to navigate it.
Yes, it's very difficult to navigate.
You gotta know how to navigate. Once you know how to navigate that, one day, I don't know what it is, but I can link it. I can show you all. Yeah, I can show you how to do it. But I have the info for the Bahamian one. It has the name of the owner, the city was commissioned in, the year the ship was built, the date they embarked, where they embarked from, the name of the captain of the ship, the ports that they stopped to buy the slaves, the ports they stopped through on the way over here, the year, everything, bro. How the ship was happening, so they have how it ended, and then they tell you if they had a revolt, if they didn't have a revolt, how long the Middle Passage journey was, all of that.
What's the longest you've seen that one? How long was the
Bahamas one?
What was the norm like? Yeah.
Well, it depends on the period. So if you're talking 16th, 17th century, 2 to 3 months. If you're talking 18th, 19th century, 1 to 2 months. Okay. Yeah. And then weather, all these different factors, you know what I mean? But I just find out. Yeah. And then last week, bro, which Rogers store? Slave boat owner, but his boat was named the Nassau. And he was his son did own the boat, and they bring 138 slaves here. And on that boat was where, remember we talked about Comino, the fella from Ashanti who I tell you come bring the junk canoe, right? Who I wanted to put up there. That's the boat he come on. When Woods Rogers statue, right there. Woods Rogers, yeah. If you watch movies like anything about piracy and black sails and all that, he is always the guy who was coming at the end, who was the hero, who was getting all the pirates to surrender. That's Woods Rogers. Our first royal governor, who we much love so much.
Yes.
All that. And they even more insulting, they turn the statue inland. When statue is facing inland, that's only for people who from there.
That's right.
So that's like the heights of like brown nosing, bro, like craziness stuff. You know what I mean? Like they turn it inland, so that's even if you ain't conscious, bro.
Yeah.
Like he ain't from here.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
and you turn into the people like, look at me. I know you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And his picture is him like this about to draw his sword.
Yeah.
All that is meaningful, bro. You understand? Queen Victoria, they get her, and her throne is sitting on 3 lions.
Yeah, we saw that.
We saw that. Yes,
yeah,
we did see that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a serious thing. And of course, this way moving to my favorite stuff. Slave resistance, slave rebellion. We get the Haitian Revolution, Seminoles and the Maroons, you know. So here, concept you got to remember in the Bahamas, our big contribution is the saltwater underground railroad. So since before the American Revolution, we would go over to Florida and rescue Seminoles and Creeks and bring them over here on little dinghies, and then we take them to Western Andros. Yeah, bro. So, see, so the Bahamas we known as the Toms in the Caribbean, you see, but that's because this information isn't known. The most successful slave revolt in United States history took place right behind this door, known as the Creole case, led by Madison, Washington.
The Creole
case led by Madison, Washington. You will never see that in American history
heard of it.
because you have some writers who would write like a little story about it. First of all, one reason you'll never hear about it because the slaves won.
Because the slave, right.
It wasn't like Nat Turner, even though he's extremely important.
Right.
Because Nat Turner actually created that fear that was needed for them to allow them to let that go. You understand?
Right.
So he's extremely important. I ain't trying to negate what he did.
Right.
But Nat Turner is focused on because, you know, he killed, 100 whites.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it all, hundreds of us got lynched.
Yes.
And then he ended up dying and then it was just a loss.
Yeah.
But in this one, you know, so essentially, him and his wife were together. They went up the Underground Railroad. She was recaptured, sent back down into slavery.
His wife was Nat Turner?
No,
Madison,
Washington. Madison, Washington.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry to cut you off. When you say the Underground Railroad, are you talking about here or in America?
Here, but
So there
from
was
America to here. This was so like how Canada and Nova Scotia was, the Bahamas was, and the other direction.
Florida.
Yeah, right. But Florida, remember at first many used to run south to Florida and live among the natives there. Right? And then when Florida had to come under the United States, you know, darkness there.
So they
You
moved
got
to
either you're dead or you're a slave. And so then we started going red base.
who got pushed to the Bahamas. They left and went to the Bahamas.
Yeah, but it was us who went over on dinghies and rescued them and things, bro. Yeah, and so we have many people who, and then you know you know, so
Bring some movement here.
but I trust me, I can say a lot of little info on this stuff. And we also have a theory of a guy named Abul Kelly. I have a Moorish branch. I don't know if you all know Anton L. Farrington. He's a Moorish brethren, and he started the Moorish temple over here, just beginning and stuff. And I sent it to him, and I'll probably share with you all too, because we trying to. I don't want you just to layman's term. I would put a label on it, but he was most definitely either a Moor or maybe even an Israelite. Because he's writing letters to the governor.
Just Latin
same
for
thing.
black.
Don't
tell him who he is.
Right.
But when I say Moor, when I say Moor, I mean with the fairs, with the you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, not just how they would use it in our term. Because they would, like you say, all they would probably call us Moors even in America 100 years ago, right? Yeah. So I mean in like the Kingdom of Mali types, that type, you know what I mean? But this was a guy who claimed to be a prince. And at first, they were saying that he was Islamic. And then we found out that the translator who translated his words was lying. Because he was Islamic, but he couldn't understand them. He wanted to get them money. So he lied and said that the fellow was Islamic and this and that. But then when we read deeper, there's no way he could have been Islamic. Think of that. You understand that? Yeah, but he didn't eat pork. But he was an Islamic. So now we trying to figure out what group it could have possibly been and all that. So I said that.
Who follow the dietary law?
Yeah, you know,
right.
Even that, like the man, but he writing letters to the governor, bro. Talking about, but as a prince, what the hell you doing? I have my own slaves in Africa, and y'all trying to turn me into like this. What this guy was saying to these people.
Oh, he was already a prince.
He was a prince in Africa, and they took him. Right.
I think they have a movie about it.
They got a movie similar about that. I remember movie.
I seen a movie. I don't know if they had the same names.
Yeah.
I know they
I saw a movie like that.
He was a king or prince.
Yeah, he got caught. Yes.
That's a lot of Equilano.
Yeah, that's
No, not a lot of Equiano. No,
we told me that killed a movie.
He was already a slave.
Yeah.
He was a killed a slave, but he wasn't a prince.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, a lot of Equianos. That's another.
Yeah, that's another
He
one.
wrote the first slave narrative.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of Equianos.
And he is like our Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
And we have another sister named Mary Prince who did something similar, but like 50 years later. And she did almost the same thing. Yeah. But anyway, slave rebellion and resistance, this is actually like my specialty, especially bringing it home close to the Bahamas. Every island in the Bahamas had some form of slave resistance. I've never seen a place where chattel slavery existed with our people where we did not clap back in some way, shape, or form. You understand? And so with Long Island, a well-known they like to call it a diverse island, but it ain't really that diverse. It's just white. It's the whitest, considered to be like the whitest of all our islands.
Oh, it's called Long Island.
Long Island. Yeah, Long
And that's
Island.
the only island in Bahamas that only have one Haitian.
One
Oh
Haitian.
yeah, one
They don't allow Haitians to be in
one
there.
Haitian lived there.
And he got married to someone there. That's the,
Wow.
Yeah, right. And I go on there playing soccer one day, and first I'm
they question you.
being asked,
They question you.
like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. When you land on Long Island, the natives will come in and ask you, what's
In
the purpose
Long
of it?
Island.
What you here for?
Yeah, bro.
They actually come and question
In our own country.
Oh, if you all,
Yeah.
not all,
Not all.
but it's segregated still too. Blacks live in
Yeah,
certain settlements, whites live in certain
yeah,
settlements.
separated, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
North from the south, yeah.
it's craziness. Yeah, and if you Haitian, bro, they brag about
You gotta leave.
shooting people and things.
Yeah, or go missing.
Real talk.
When sunset, yeah, you got it. When
And
you want
on
to,
that
that
island-
last play, you want to order them.
On that island, we wasn't playing with them. We killed 3 overseers on that island. Once in 1809, once in 1835, and stuff like that. We don't never get taught these things, you know.
Yeah.
And even like Pompey's story, when they first told it to us, it was like, oh, we just had an agreement with a slave master.
Right.
Little misunderstanding. Come to find out, there's about 90 people.
Yeah,
They steal the whole boat, come here, write petitions, gone in jail for 2 months.
Yep.
All the women get whipped. They came back. Then they had a revolt, and then you know all these things.
Do you have any history as far as the different denominations coming here when the slave
yes.
masters come here? Can
Yes.
you speak on that? Because
Oh, yeah. That's
from
another-
our point
You
is
talking about religious?
yes,
Oh, yes.
Christianity.
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
from our
Yeah.
point, what we see is, like you just mentioned,
Yeah.
somebody would quell the revolution that they had and say, oh, it was just a misunderstanding.
Right. Yeah.
But from what we see is that because of the religion that was brought to them, that keeps us in a dormant,
Right.
subservient,
Yep.
servant mindset, whereas we never want to offend, or
Yep.
even if it's true,
Yeah.
even if it's true, we never want to offend
Offend
them
them,
because
yeah.
we don't want to feel bad or
We the
whatever.
victims, so we gotta walk on eggshells, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
that's
yes,
crazy.
yes.
I 100% concur with that, brother. And the Bahamas is a great example of that. So, just as we mentioned before, you know, you look at the Baptist Church 200 years ago, you would actually look at them, respect them. Our black separatist churches and stuff, they used to hide runaway slaves, kill slave masters, all these things. Regardless of the belief, you could put that on the side. They helping us in the here and the now. And let's look at our Baptist churches today. Exactly, you understand what I'm saying? So, what happened in the Bahamas just with the Baptist churches? This is just the Baptist church. The same people that founded the first separatists now. This is not the one under the umbrella. Remember they had the white guy, he came to Georgia, taught George Live. George Live's like, I see what's happening here. Thank you, but no thank you, but I'll still keep this and I'll go this way.
Right.
It's a separatist church.
Right.
Yeah.
They, Silver Bluff, Georgia, Galvin Plantation. Those same people when the American Revolution started made the concerted effort to become black loyalists, which really was just them fighting for the British to get free. They wasn't loyal to nothing. And you have cases where a black patriot and a black loyalist would pass and, you know, everything cool. Both of us just trying to get free, bro. You know what I mean? That was the gist of it. Now those same people came to the Bahamas. Make sure I take them on Meeting Street. Pastor Stewart there. He approachable. You could talk to him. You could talk to him with that. And the same people, the same protégés of George Lyle were the ones who founded the first black separatist churches in the Bahamas. Bethel Baptist Church and St. John's Native Baptist Church. They also did Prince Hall, Lodge King at the same time. They used to call them African lodges, African churches, and then they slowly kind of appropriated it. So now they're not African church, they are native.
AME or something?
No, not even native.
Native.
Like the British word, native.
Oh.
Natives, yeah. So you have St. John's Native Baptist Church.
Yeah.
But Prince William, who name it Prince John African Church. Some of them name it the Black Church. And they used to hide runaway slaves. So you would see runaway ads with these people being like, hey, this one ran away 2 weeks ago. Make sure I check Sambo Scriven House, the black preacher, you know, because most likely he there or he there hiding them up.
Right.
Sambo was always hiding slaves and stuff like that now. Now, my grandmother been to Zion Baptist Church all her life. Paid tithes there every Sunday for 60-something years. And every fucking pastor who speak at my Grammy funeral charges money, bro. Wow.
That's evil as hell.
That's evil.
That's evil we talking about.
You think exactly, bro?
That's evil as hell.
And I ain't get loud because I know y'all recording and some of these man is here the side like them come with me. But y'all know who y'all is. Real talk. Man, them all perm up and thing, man. Watching and things like that.
Right.
Exactly what they talking about.
You say somebody will tell
They
us.
go right here.
Oh yeah, this that instrument here is talking about.
Right.
So this, you know they have this down as science. So this one was obviously the weight will prevent you, just making them comfortable. This also made it easier for them to track you when you were running away. Yep. And this prevented you from sleeping. So when you fall asleep, exactly, you can see how it's situated, bro. So you dip this way, you get stick in your back. You dip forward, you get stick in your front.
Evil stuff.
That's what it was
Yeah,
for.
that's what that's for.
Wow. You know, we have that on the
Yeah, but they
I did not know that. I did
you
not
fall
realize
asleep, bro. And check out something called the Russian sleep experiment. And there's nothing worse you could probably do to a person than deprive them of sleep.
Yes.
That's called the Russian sleep experiment.
Russian sleep experiment, right? Beyond crazy, bro. That's I feel personally, because you know some verses and stuff they would say that there's something sinister inside of us all, and we have to fight that and go to the glory type of thing. That sinister thing, I believe, is brought out of us. True thing, I believe, because personally, in my personal belief system. And when people, atheists and them come up to me, because I get a lot of black atheist brethren and stuff like that too, and they come up to me and I was like, bro, the fact that we dream, for me, is proof enough that God exists, bro. Why we sleep, why we dream. You understand? And that was a big thing in this. And I believe that when we sleeping, something that we lose touch with, obviously, given everything we've been through, but I believe that when we asleep, that somehow that's when God communicates with us, maybe closer, maybe something like that. But I didn't even know that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
He said he spoke to us in dreams.
That's why
That's what he said he speaks
That's
to
why
us.
we have deja vu and all that. We
Yeah.
just out of touch with it. And all that.
Speaketh once, yea twice, yet man perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon man and slumberings upon the bed.
That don't even leave it open for interpretation.
Then he look at this.
That don't even leave it open
Openeth
for
the
interpretation.
ears of man
I
and
love it.
seals their instruction. So them dreams you talking about,
Yeah,
it
bro,
is a
that's
God.
it, dog.
That's when he's
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah, bro. And that I
And then
always
you get
felt
up,
like that.
You get up and whatever instructions he sealed in your mind, you go about your day.
Right.
You do it.
Can you tell us about Junkanoo a little bit?
Carnival. This was the theme for this Junkanoo, Illusions of Carnival, right? And well, Junkanoo named after John Canoe, I mentioned him briefly. They had an African Akan general who fought against the Prussians.
Oh, he was a Khan.
Yeah, well, Akan ethnicity. Culturally, I guess he would have been Ashanti. He would have been Ashanti actually, because Kumasi. Yeah, he went to Kumasi, Ashanti.
Okay, all right.
Akan, Ashanti person. He was a general, ruled over about 20,000 troops, fought against the British, the Dutch, and the Prussians, who had been a part of Germany today for like 30 years. Defeated them, and of course, we know when it comes to colonization, the only couple ways. See, people think it was like might. But it wasn't even totally just might. It was disease, and then they made these military innovations and stuff. So when they invented the long-range cannon, that was when it was to take Ghana and the Gold Coast. And then the Gold Coast came in. That was John Canoe was fighting that against them, bro. You see what I'm saying? Then his generals, after they lost, they were sent into the British Empire as slaves. So we find evidence of John Canoe in North Carolina. We find evidence of Junkanoo in the Bahamas, in Jamaica,
South Florida too.
Right,
Miami.
South Florida, all of these places. You see what I'm saying? Prior to Bahamians going there and bringing it there. Because in South Florida, most people say, well, yeah, you know, Bahamians gone there because we built South Florida. Yeah, our women mostly actually built South Florida. Coconut Grove and
Coconut Grove, that's what it's big, Coconut Grove.
Yeah, right. We built that. Now you go there, you can see things named after Bahamians and stuff like that. So
this whole parade, like the Junkanoo thing, is in honor of him.
Right? Even though he wouldn't admit it. Now, of course, you know they didn't teach us that. Right? They taught us that he was a slave who begged the slave master for an extra day off after Christmas.
That's what Nehemiah told me.
Yeah, to allow us.
Yeah.
But that's
not true.
No, that's what they drove. That's what they drove. But they ain't gonna lie. That's
what they
been the
drove
story, bro. That's been the story. Yes, yes.
You need to hear that.
Yeah, you get historians who will tell you that story right now.
Oh, okay.
And that was me doing extensive research. I hear people who fight that down. But my trump card is how could one slave beg one slave master for an extra day off afterwards to start jumping? Thank you. No WhatsApp, no Facebook.
No social media.
North Carolina, Belize, Jamaica, all at the same time spread. It was because it was just generals who got sent to these places. And Kwamino was, and I believe is one of them generals. I sit there and confirm that
But this the whole thing that we do behind it now
is and it's actually and for to take it a step further, it's not only is it in commemoration of John Canoe, it's in defiance of British colonization. And
the women of the dressing up and all of that went with it, or when it first started, or that what it morphed into?
Yeah, I believe more so, maybe morphed into. You have something called the Fancy Dress Festival in Ghana. And as you, in certain African things, not to say, not even in a sexual way, but many things were like unisex, right? So you would see, so for example, the Fulani, the man and the woman wear the same type of earrings. You understand? I guess you could compare it to, in our community, wearing a fitted hat. It is generally done by men, but if you see a woman wearing a fitted hat too, you won't be like, oh my God, why is she wearing a new era hat? You know, you just be like, oh, whatever. So it's kind of like that. I cannot speak too much of the role they would have played in the origins of the festival, but I know it's very male-centric. I know a part of that had to do with the Eurocentric version of excluding women, and not so much more of the Afrocentric kind of version of more protecting women. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then later on, because you might be on to something that later on, because jungle was illegal, it was considered witchcraft and obeah and sorcery or other stuff. When we used to rush, we call it rushing, we used to rush, they used to call the police for us, throw us off the road. Only when rich celebrities from Hollywood came and saw the parade, they was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And it's like, what, white people like it? Okay. And
it's okay.
Right, now it's okay, right? So then that's what happened. You see what I'm saying? And then I believe, because it is, because that's another problem, and that's one thing I don't like to talk around too much to other people, because even when you look at stuff like carnival and things, you see what I'm saying? Even these most sinister things, even stuff like twerking, they don't even have sinister beginnings, bro. All of these things originate in like certain fertility dances that we used to do and stuff like that. A lot of it actually originated in things that would happen behind closed doors.
But what happens is with our people having the evil spirit we've got now, we turn it into the worst thing.
Exactly. And not only just that, it's the hypersexualization of us. You see what I'm saying? And then that manifests itself in some of these parades. You understand? So, and it's black. Of course, it's clear with black women. Clear. But with us, it's a little less clear. So I just have to break it down for some people. And I just use the term Mandingo. I tell them Mandingo is actually a group of people, an ethnicity, a respectable community of people in Africa. But when you hear the word, all you think is pornography, walking, all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? So that right there, for me, pretty much is like one of the best examples of how this sexualization is done to us. And now we brag with it. Now, if you want to tell a girl, you can throw it down, you tell her, it's a Mandingo. You know what I'm saying? And then it's so complex because that's why we need that education, that solidarity. Because then we can do with these things and stop leaving these words in limbo. Because I don't drop N-bombs personally, but I respect the argument that some people make. So for example, it'd be like, me and you could be about to fight. Or we could be fighting. And then one white person walking there.
We're going to be like, what the hell are you saying?
You see what I'm saying? So, and then of course, different things, and it does give us a certain level of power, a certain level of solidarity in some senses. Me personally, I know about origins and stuff, and I know the word was made to insult us, and we get enough swag and intelligence to make up our own thing.
before that.
Even before that,
It
right?
goes back to the Bible.
All right
It's
then.
in Acts 13:1.
Well, let me show me that
Yeah,
one
let me
too.
show you. Nigga, the word is in the Bible. The N word is in the Bible.
Wow.
But it's
Because
not called.
my understanding was, because you know they used to call us Negro, which is Latin for black.
And that's what that word means.
Right, exactly. But my understanding of it was that it came out of the American South, because you had a lot of these fellas inbreeding.
That's the colonizers.
And yeah, but not even that. This is just my personal view.
Okay.
And you know, we used to call it heavy tongue. Can't talk. You're stupid. You're inbred. And so Negro just became nigger. Because they just a bunch of half-wit, you know, racist
Now
white
watch
people.
this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you read it and see how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
It says, now
Now
there
they're
were
in
in church in Antioch, Greek city,
yeah.
certain prophets and teachers, as
Barnabas,
Barnabas
Simeon.
and Simeon, that was called.
Niger.
Oh, you see?
Yeah.
That's the colonizers.
That's the colonized
And
way.
guess what?
Niger, yeah.
Listen to this.
Nigeria too, yeah.
Listen.
That's-
If you go to Google
Yeah.
and you have the translate from Greek to English or Latin to English,
Yeah.
it's going to pronounce it nigger.
Nigger.
Like Nigeria
Yeah.
was originally nigger area.
Right.
It morphed into Nigeria.
Wow.
And
so they took it.
Above Nigeria,
Yeah.
you have Niger,
Yeah.
which they called nigger.
Yeah.
But now it's Nigeria.
Yeah. Nigeria, yeah.
Originally-
Right.
and remember,
yeah.
this is written in this is the New
Wait
Testament. It's Greek.
Yeah, that's way older than that.
So it's nigger.
Right.
That they call it.
Oh yeah, Gnostic, yeah, it's the Gnostics,
Black,
yeah, you're right.
you know?
With the pronunciation.
Right. Yeah, but the
make it more-
pronunciation
we can look at it.
Well,
So
that's
here's the
like
thing.
Danish and Danish.
So what we
Because
have
of
to
Denmark,
do,
you
what we
Mark
do,
it down.
we have to filter it, get rid of the
Right.
colonized.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Because unfortunately we speak in English, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's in there.
I wish we could have
What else we got?
been speaking some Manding or something.
I know we got
Story of Thomas. Yeah, I ain't keep you up. I know normally they're yeah, but we just deal with the outside, and then if y'all come out, you the outside. This here is modern day slavery. There's a whole other-
We know, bro. We know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, good.
Modern day slavery.
And this is my specialty right here. This, they actually had the curve and cut out a lot of my info, because I used to tell the fella, you know,
Yeah, I know.
I was calling all the company names,
Yeah.
I putting my random picture up.
Yeah.
Or
you put this in there?
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah, most of the, I didn't put the words itself, I did the research, and then I took from my research to make most of this, yeah.
Modern states.
And this ain't even accurate either, because this numerical. So that's why you will see China and India there. But China and India, their labor is exploited, sweatshop mostly. And then of course you have sex workers too. And what people don't even realize, the global sex work industry is fueled by white Americans. When they make these arrests, yeah, bro, yeah, sex tourism, bro, yeah, bro. And in my tourism class, I mentioned that I almost get kicked out class, bro.
Wow.
They was talking about how Cuba set the foundation for tourism industry and yada yada, ray. I was like, yeah, okay, I understand that, cool. But them fellas was down there buying some cheap girls. That's all they was doing,
Kids.
bro.
Yes.
Kids, and
Kids.
exactly, my brother.
Yeah.
They got a hotel
evil,
right
man.
now called the Oxygen Retreat, bro. And it's like, why? You get grown women in this world. Like, why? You know what I mean? Even if you succumb to some temptation, bro, why would you understand what I'm saying, brother?
It's evil.
And even if you succumb to that temptation, why would you do it in such an exploitative way? Why wouldn't you at least do something? You don't understand what I'm saying, brother? Why would you just go there and get this girl within $5? You understand what I'm saying,
You go back
brother?
to America and you're the CEO of the company and you just,
Yeah, bro.
oh, I had a great time on my trip.
Man, they get fellas like Cuba Dave. Cuba Dave is a celebrity because he's go travel the world and just grind girls.
Cuba Dave?
Cuba Dave. He's in Costa Rica right now in trial for screwing two 14-year-old girls. When you look at all those big things, they love to talk about Bangkok and Thailand, right? All of those are American and Canadian based.
Yeah.
Almost without exception. And when they make the bus with the 200 kids who've been doing child pornography, America produces 75% of all child pornography in the world, bro. Wow. 75% of all child pornography in the world, but they only 5% of the world's population. Yeah, I don't know how y'all is doing.
We gonna get them come out to
the front lines, bro.
People to come out of that.
Right, exactly, you know? Yeah. So, because I could still, even me, I have little misgivings about saying Bahamian, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, we kind of make this blocks here and all that stuff. But if I was American, I'd never say this. I wouldn't claim America. Personally.
No, we don't claim America.
Yeah, I know that. So, yeah, curse aplenty. But this one breaks it down. This is important. More people has died in the Democratic Republic of the Congo since 1996 than in every American war in history. And that is because that is because of this mineral right here, coltan, that goes in all our cell phones.
What's it called?
Coltan.
Oh, I think I heard of that.
Right.
Coltan.
Coltan. And those bastards wouldn't even put this on the periodic table because they want to keep us ignorant. It's a mixture of tantalum and cobalt that occurs naturally in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. They produce 90% of this mineral. Wow. The first hard drive in the world was 5 megabytes, and all of us together probably couldn't lift that up. Only 5 megabytes. Now we could fit 1 billion times that in a little chip because of coltan. Coltan, vibranium actually is a metaphor for coltan in Black Panther. Vibranium.
In Black Panther.
Right, exactly. And the spot where the media hit.
Yeah.
That's Northern Kivu. That's where all the coltan comes from.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I teach, so the same thing you all do. When I try to teach people, I say, what do you think the difference is between Wakanda and Kinshasa, the actual city, the real city in the Congo, right? Same area, everything. And they always say, a big difference is they control their resources and we don't. Right? Yeah. So yeah, and this is how they do it. You know, 1 kilogram of coltan will probably make you 1,000 iPhone 10s, over $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. And the fellas who mining that, they lucky if they get $5.
This is what's so evil.
Yeah, bro. Like you can't, you know. Yeah. And then honestly speaking, bro, and then I meet people who be like, well, you know, it isn't that bad, and everyone ain't like that unless like they, I ain't gonna lie, like y'all just don't.
Come on, man, look at this thing.
Children, this fella 14, this one 15.
So these should be billionaires right now.
Yes, bro, exactly. Exactly, bro. This is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Pony 13 M23 using Israeli guns.
It's so hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd. For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.